This podcast is a part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network. You can follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, PW_Junkies. Make sure you guys leave us a like, subscribe, and comment, and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. And just make sure you check out all the amazing podcasts that are available on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network. You have The Junkyard, What Do You Say with DDJ, Such Good Shoot, and Brad and Steven Talk Wrestling. So make sure you guys check all those out. So, hey, on to the show. Enjoy.
Hey, this is Tamatonga, Bullet Club Original OG triple OG triple.
What's up? It's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and you are listening to The Junkyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 20. That's right, number 20 of Pro Wrestling Junkies, The Junkyard. I'm one of your hosts, Spencer Cantor, also known as number 11. Guys, go ahead and join the Dark Order right now. And if you aren't, guys, just join the Dark Order. Come on. But hey, enough of that. We'll get into that more later. Dennis, go ahead and introduce yourselves to the people. By now, on episode 20, they don't know who we are.
Man, 20 episodes in, and if you still don't know who we are, well, you know what? Let's just do you all a favor, and let's just tell you who we are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time to get out from whatever rock you have been living underneath and get with the program, because for the 20th time, my name is Dennis Day Jr., otherwise known as DDJ, the host of What Do You Say with DDJ that drops every Monday on both YouTube as well as all major podcasting platforms as part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad.
Cheap.
Well, 20 episodes in, I still got to give the people what they want.
And what the people want for the 20th time is I, Jovanni, too Hotty, here for your listening needs, wants, desires 20 times over.
That's right. We give the people what they want 20 times. And guys, what the people want today is for us to talk some wrestling. And there was a hell of a lot of stuff that happened this week and stuff I actually watched this week. So you know it was a good week. They're shocked, but hey, let's just get into it. Here's what happened this week in wrestling. All right, we'll start off with the E like we always do with Monday Night Raw. All right, so for a 3-hour show, not a whole lot of stuff happened of note, but we'll get into the few things that did. First off, we have to give congratulations to the brand new WWE champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley. He came out this week and a badass new entrance, lightning bolts, new music, everything. He just looks like $1,000,000, dressed to the nines. He looks like what a world champion is supposed to. You could honestly compare him to the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, who is always dressed to the nines and everything. That's what I'm seeing with Bobby Lashley. He defended his title against The Miz, the automatic rematch clause kind of thing, even though it's really not a thing. But he defended his title, crushed The Miz, and is now set to probably going to go face some challenger at WrestleMania. Don't know who that is yet. There's a few possible names it could possibly be. So we have Drew McIntyre. There's always the wild card in Brock Lesnar, who could always make an appearance again. Or it could be Drew's challenger at Fastlane, Sheamus, who had a match last Monday night that went to a no contest because these two wanted to beat the holy hell out of each other with steel steps. If you've seen the pictures on Twitter, they are basically just their bodies are wrecked, and they're like, so that was a no contest. Okay. But it was announced at Fastlane, they're going to have a last man standing match. And if it's anything like the matches these two have put on in the past few weeks, That's going to be one to watch, and possibly whoever wins that could go on to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. So guys, what are your thoughts on, Bobby Lashley being the WWE champion now, his new entrance, and let's get your thoughts, early predictions for Drew versus Sheamus at Fastlane, that feud in general.
Bobby Lashley, WWE champion, long overdue. This version of Bobby Lashley, I've said a previous episode, long overdue. This should have been the Bobby Lashley we got when he returned right after WrestleMania a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, love it. I couldn't have said any better myself when you talked about how he looks like a champion. He dresses like a champion. You made the comparison to Nick Aldis, and I'm totally all in on that. As for Drew versus Sheamus, these guys can't seem to have a bad match. I mean, the last 2 weeks on Raw, they've been easily the match of the night for that show. I thought this match they just had was better than the one the previous week. And as for the last man standing match, I'm going to be definitely paying close attention to that. I think it's going to be just as good, if not better, than the other two matches. I want to say that Drew's going to come out on top, and, this set up Drew versus Bobby Lashley. But, I mean, there's so many different ways this could go, and I actually like it because it makes things less predictable. And when things are less predictable in the world of pro wrestling, that's when wrestling's its most fun.
Yes, very true. And we will get into that more later on the show. But, Jovan, let me get your thoughts on this.
Bobby Lashley. I was so worried that they were going to make him a transitional champ. He was just there to lose the belt. That way Miz didn't have to do it. But the new entrance, the new dedication to him makes me feel like maybe, just maybe, they'll let him have a run. Long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
The man looks like money. He can work because he's a legitimate badass. So, hopefully Bobby gets to retain past Mania. Now, getting to Mania, Drew or Sheamus? I don't know, man. They've been putting on, like DDJ said, the best show in all of Raw. Raw hasn't been very good. It's no secret. But they've put that show on their back with this rivalry. I would hate for Fastlane to be the end of it, because I think there's plenty of story left. And then when you realize that these guys have been going at it since they were in the Indies together, there's no mistaking why it's always good. They've done this for years. They know each other. And when you know someone like that, you know how to set them up. You know how to make it look good. Each week they're proving that, because each week they're going out there and putting on the best match of the show. So, small hot take. That match at Fastlane will steal the show.
I can't disagree with that. I would not be surprised by that at all.
Okay, definitely making Fastlane a pay-per-view not many people were probably very excited for, but with the matches they're adding to the card, and this one being the first one, part of the Peacock deal, it's going to be interesting to see, what they have in store for that one for sure.
Gentlemen, have y'all gone on the Peacock yet?
Yeah, I downloaded it.
There you go. Junkies, get out there and give Peacock a try, man. There's a good little promo out there for the WWE subscribers. If anything, it's worth it for the few months that you get the discounted rate for. So give it a try. You might like it.
What is it, like 4 months for $10?
Yeah, 4 months for $9.99.
Yeah, you really can't beat that, because not only are you eventually going to get all the stuff that you're used to seeing on the WWE Network, you get all the great programming and movies that are put out by Universal, and all the shows you see every week on NBC, like Young Rock, like Kenan, like, Law and Order and all that stuff. So
I love me some Law and Order, so that sold me too.
Yeah, my wife's a huge Law and Order fan, and I watch it with her on occasion too.
Not just wrestling, Spencer. See there? We do it all.
Oh, we do it all. I guess we don't do
it for the Rock. We do it for the people.
Wait, do we do it? Do we do it for Young Rock or no?
No, but if they sign up for Peacock, they can watch Young Rock.
That's right. Get you a little bit of Sheiky Baby.
Sheiky Baby. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk with Raw? Any small things you want to hit on before we move on to SmackDown?
We got so much other to hit on, man. I'm ready to just leave Raw behind.
One thing I do want to mention, I guess it's being reported that Asuka suffered a concussion, so who knows how long she's going to be out for a while. So that's going to definitely make the Raw Women's Championship picture pretty interesting going into WrestleMania because we don't know how long Asuka's going to be out for.
Did Nia do it?
Actually, no, I think it was Shayna.
Same time. Same.
It's tooth out.
Oh.
Ouch. That sucks. Asuka.
My hole, now we have my tooth.
Oh, God, please. No. We're moving on. Asuka, we wish you a speedy recovery. We're dropping that now, putting it dead in the water. We are not going there. We're going to move on to SmackDown. All right, so moving on to Friday Night SmackDown, which we just finished watching because we're recording on a Friday night this week instead of our usual Saturday night. So a few things of note to talk about here. First off, we had a little shopping spree with our favorite sommelier, Reginald, who is now working with Nia Jax and Shayna after, being let go by Carmella and, unsuccessfully trying to get with Bianca and Sasha. So he went on a little shopping spree, courtesy of Nia Jax. Did the usual, shopping spree montage thing, tried all the outfits, you looking good, turns, make sure you do all his flippy shit and everything. Reginald was looking pretty good. I honestly really didn't care for this segment, but it was cool to, see Reginald show some personality and stuff. But then later on in the night after the KO show that had Bianca and Sasha on there, Nia and Shayna come out, just on commentary. And then there's a match between Sasha and Bianca versus Natalya and Tamina. They fight, but then, Reginald gets involved and stuff. And as you know by now, we're going to have Sasha and Bianca versus Shayna and Nia at Fastlane for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. But then also next week, before Fastlane, we got the announcement that we're going to have Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, guys, we're talking about, the shopping segment and, just the whole segment with all these people involved. And, even Sasha and Bianca, pretty much coming to light with all the problems they're having because we know it's all going to come to a head very soon, more than likely at Fastlane. What are your thoughts on this whole storyline and where they're trying to go with it?
Reginald, my man, you need to watch out. Nia Jax is trying to take it from you. And that's a mighty big woman. So, Reginald, if you're going to need help, please, in my hole, make sure you check out the official sponsor of the Junkyard, Blue Chew, for when you need to make sure that you'll have enough to go around. But back into SmackDown. The shopping montage I could have gone without. We already like Reginald. There's no need to keep trying to get him over. He's over. Don't kill it. Don't oversaturate it. Let him be. Let him air out. Get him away from Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler because those are heels. You don't need a face to be over with a group of heels. Booking decisions to have Nia Jax go against Sasha Banks. I don't get it. When Sasha is going against Bianca at WrestleMania, and that's the match we all want. But I don't know. It's the WWE. They do what they want at times. So hopefully this goes well. Reginald, I hope, doesn't just get relegated to a comedy act because I think he is pretty over and, maybe there's something there.
See, for me, I got a kick out of the shopping segment. I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of funny how Shayna just sat there on her phone the whole time, kind of like the proverbial husband who's being dragged against his will by his wife going, to go out looking for clothes. The guy's just sitting there on his phone in the waiting room while the woman's in there trying all the clothes on and stuff. So I actually liked that part. Now, when we got to this match and the post KO show, yeah, that didn't do anything for me. Like I said, if anything, it's really taken away my interest from this whole Sasha Bianca thing. And I was really excited about that. And I still am, but it's just, like I said, I find if I see more stuff like this, it's just going to kill whatever interest I had going into this WrestleMania match. And it's just, I could have done without this. And I just feel like they're overbooking the crap out of this. And it's just, they're doing a lot of stuff that they really don't need to do. So, yeah, that's just really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Next up, Seth Rollins has, slowly been, making his return and we're trying to figure out who Seth Rollins actually is. He was Burn It Down. Then he was the Monday Night Messiah, then Friday Night Messiah. And now, he's just, trying to get people to, follow his way again. Try to recruit Buddy Murphy. That I don't think anything's going there right now. But now he's focusing all his attacks on Cesaro. So Cesaro had a match with Buddy Murphy, but then of course, Seth Rollins has to get involved, and he just goes into the ring, gets DQ'd, and he curb stomps Cesaro about 2 or 3 times. And then I think he even tries to do it on a chair, but then that attack is unsuccessful. Does it look like we might be getting Cesaro versus Seth, not at Fastlane, but at Mania?
Yes, and I am unbelievably stoked for this match because I get that early hot take. If we get Cesaro versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, that could easily steal the show.
Brother, I couldn't be more polar opposite than you right now. Since his return, I really could care less about Seth Rollins. I don't know if it's because there's 2 gimmicks going on at once. I don't know if it's because there's nothing that he's really built in since coming back. He just came back and we're just supposed to be like, it's Seth Rollins, which kind of left with the sour note and like a fart in the elevator. And when you come back, we're just supposed to be happy to see you again.
Yeah.
I really, this does nothing for me. I think they need to reboot the Rollins character, get him back to either Burn It Down, Kingslayer, do something. Bring him back to somebody that's not this Messiah bullcrap. The only reason I would probably watch this WrestleMania match if it happens, there's gonna be a spot where Rollins goes for the curb stomp, Cesaro pops him up and uppercuts him. That's the only reason I'm gonna watch, because I know it has to happen.
That'll probably happen, and of course you're gonna watch because gotta watch all of Mania, especially with it 2 nights now. And then we found out there's gonna be another 2-night event with WWE. Lots of wrestling to watch that week. We're all gonna probably be dead by the end of it.
Spencer may watch more than 2 shows that week.
Hey, I watched 3 this week. 2.5 actually, but
So what do you want, like a cookie or something?
Cookie.
Number 11 want cookie. Moving on, we had the return of the Intercontinental Champion. Big E made his return to Friday Night Smackdown after being viciously attacked by the heel Apollo Crews. He came out and he was injured. He had his bandages and his neck braces and stuff. And then he just walked out and just took it all off and said, I'm fine. I'm good. So it's like, okay, we get happy-go-lucky Big E again. Oh, no. He came to the ring and he had a purpose in mind. No. He got up in the camera's face, or the camera got in his face, and you could feel the intensity he had. He was like, Apollo, what you did to me, man, not cool. So now I got it in you. And I was like, oh, give me more of that. I like that Big E. I liked, New Day Big E when he was, joking and everything. But when this dude gets serious, that just makes me think, why hasn't that guy got a world title? And I think that'll be coming sooner rather than later, possibly next year. We'll see. But anyways, right now, he was like, hey, he called out Apollo and he said, hey, right now, let's do it. Me and you, Intercontinental Championship match, if that's what it takes. But then Apollo didn't come out. He was like, okay, screw this. I came for a fight. I'm going to have an Intercontinental Open Challenge. So then Baron Corbin comes out, but it's not Baron Corbin. Sami Zayn comes out to accept the challenge. So, Sami and Big E fight. A little bit of a tussle there, more than probably should be. Big E should have destroyed him. But in the end, Big E does retain his Intercontinental Championship. So I know we're all happy to see Big E return, and, this newfound intensity is great. Speaking of WrestleMania matches, how we said Rollins and Cesaro are probably going to fight at Mania. Does it look like there is a course set for Apollo versus Big E for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania? And if that is the case, are you excited for it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely think we're starting to see a lot of other WrestleMania cards starting to take shape. If Fastlane weren't, this coming Sunday, as of when this podcast will drop, I would say we maybe get this match at Fastlane. But I mean, absolutely, it looks like these two are going to collide at WrestleMania, and I'm all for it. I want to see more of this Big E. Like I said, I like the happy-go-lucky, but man, there's just something about this Big E that when he is focused, and when he's mad and he's intense, it's like a completely different guy. And I think Jovanni just said, this is a guy that you could see them putting the world championship on. And this is the Big E that I want to see. It's just, I've been pretty open to say I like this new gimmick for Apollo minus the accent, but I mean, it's just, again, it's just, I don't know if it's just right place, wrong time or whatever, because I feel like, when these two collide, I think Apollo really needs the win to get this character over. And maybe if this were happening at any other time other than WrestleMania, maybe it would happen. But I mean, I just can't see, a little bit looking into the future, if this match does happen, I just can't see them having Big E take the loss at Mania.
I loved Big E coming out in the bandages and the neck brace and ripping them off as he makes his way to the ring. Hell of a visual, even bigger of a statement. You can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying you did your best and I'm here. Loved it. A lot of momentum and a lot of fire in that promo. Loved it. Apollo Crews didn't show up. Didn't really like that. If anything, at least show up and be there and watch the match. Do something. But if you decide to stay in the back of the ring, you look like a big bitch. So, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, you made Apollo look like a bitch. Again, you're trying to build up a big, bad heel. You made him look like a bitch. So, I would have at least wanted Apollo to show up and watch the match against Zayn. Big E should have destroyed Zayn. I mean, without hesitation, because he was fired up. And that's what I hate about this, is he gives these impassioned promos and they fall flat because of the performance. You give him 50-50 match. He gets work in. Zayn gets work in. He gets work in. Zayn gets no. Big E is pissed. He's ripping shit off. He's coming to the ring.
Yep.
He's telling the guy who just injured him, you can't hurt me. Come get your ass whooping. But then Sami Zayn, who is significantly smaller, goes in there and gives him a good match. Come on, man. He should have tore through Sami Zayn to make Big E look stronger. That way this eventual clash with Apollo is even bigger. Bad booking, but I do like the way it's going to go.
You talked about Apollo not showing up during the match. He did make an appearance after the match.
It should have been before, though.
Yeah, I get it and stuff, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, he's doing what heels do. They wait for the right time to strike, and that's so. I don't have any issue with the way Apollo was presented tonight. Like I said, I could do without that accent.
Maybe they had him in the back to learn the better accent, or maybe they were telling him not to do the accent so people will forget what he sounds like.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Black Panther, leave that Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. man.
R.I.P.
Yes, definitely. But move on. Just go back to be what you were before that. I mean, still be the heel, but don't have the accent. It's stupid. All right, last thing was
Kingston Point, Kofi Kingston.
Exactly.
Remember when he was Jamaican?
Yeah, man.
Oh, Jesus. No. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about was SmackDown. So we had the contract signing for the Universal Championship match between the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, and the yes man himself, Daniel Bryan. So everybody knows what contract signings are when in wrestling. Something's going to go down. It's never just, oh, hey, sign the paper, move on, done. Never the case. Again, not the case tonight. So after Adam Pearce gives Roman his chair at the head of the table, he tries to convince Daniel, nah, man, you don't need to do this. You're going to lose anyway. But then Daniel gets him pissed, gets him fired up. He's like, fine, I'll sign it. I don't care. It's fine. So then Daniel just calls out Roman and then, starts mentioning Jay. It's like, oh, I'm going to make you tap out like I did Jay. And then Jay just gets in his face and he's just pissed off and, throws the tables and everything. It's like, hey, you know what? You know what this match needs? This match needs a special enforcer that'll call it down the middle. And that special enforcer is going to be me. But then Jay, but then Edge walks out after having interaction with Jay, trying to figure out, why are you doing this, man? I was with your dad back in the day, and seeing this now, and you just being, basically Roman's little bitch right now. It's making you look bad. And he was like, no, you better watch how you step to the tribal chief. We'll put you in your place. But then Edge comes out, no, it's not how it's going to be. So he says, hey, let me face Jay next week, and whoever wins that can be the special enforcer. And then Adam Pearce makes the match. So next week, or on this upcoming Friday's edition of SmackDown, in the first time in 11 years, we are going to get the Rated R superstar Edge in a wrestling match against Jey Uso. And the winner of that match will be the special guest enforcer for Roman versus Daniel for the Universal title at Fastlane. That's how SmackDown ended. So, guys, what are your feelings about the match now with Daniel Bryan and Roman after, this contract signing tonight? And who do you think is going to win that match between Edge and Jay to be the special enforcer in the match at Fastlane?
I'm excited because we've seen Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns go at it before. In fact, I think we go back to I think it was Fastlane 2015. I believe we saw those two step in the ring, and that. So they had a banger match then. And I expect this to be nothing different. This whole thing with the enforcers throws a little bit of an interesting wrinkle into the fold here.
Mm-hmm.
As for who I think it's going to be, I think it's pretty obvious. Edge is going to have his first match on SmackDown in 11 years, and he is going to be essentially going on to face the winner of this match. So it makes all the sense in the world to have Edge win this match against Jey Uso this on SmackDown this week, and that. So, but it's like I said, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think we're going to wind up getting a triple threat match at Mania for the Universal title. It's going to wind up being especially the way that all three of these guys have interacted, especially like at the end of SmackDown with Daniel Bryan getting the running knee in on Edge. You really can't leave one of these guys out of the match now at Mania. I think you got to have all three in.
I think that is where we're going, gentlemen. I think it's happening. We can have Fastlane be the reason to set it up. I have to disagree, though, with Edge. I think that Jay wins this on sneaky means. And Jay screws Daniel Bryan at Fastlane, which gives Daniel Bryan the reason to be added into the Mania picture.
Interesting.
Now, Daniel Bryan, God, that promo tonight.
Yes.
Stung with every word he said.
Mm-hmm.
But the line of it all, he looked Roman right in his face and said, I did something you couldn't do. I made Jay quit. Maybe I should be the head of the table. I'm the self-proclaimed head of the table.
Mm-hmm.
That pissed Roman off. Mm-hmm. And right there, that's when I was like, oh, shit. This is about to go down. This might be that triple threat at Mania. Daniel Bryan just talked himself into this match. For me, all ago, that knee on Edge sealed the deal. I'm excited. I think Edge does lose next week, but I think that triple threat at Mania is going to tear the house down.
Yeah, definitely. And I was kind of against the triple threat. I just want Edge versus Roman, just have it be a one-on-one. But after tonight, I'm sold. I want a triple threat, and I will be disappointed if it's not, because Daniel Bryan versus Edge, I was salivating. I was like, even if I don't get a one-on-one match, if I get them to, fight in a ring just at some point in a match I never thought we would ever get, I'm sold. So that needs to be a triple threat now. So WWE, do not drop the ball on this, because we know you guys like to drop the ball a lot. But we'll see how everything shapes out going into Mania. And we'll talk about that next week on the Junkyard. So that was it for SmackDown. Now we're going to move on to Tuesday night, or actually back to Tuesday night, talking a little bit of Impact. More people are watching this show. It's a show I try to watch, but sometimes don't, especially when NXT moves to Tuesday, and then, you got AEW.
That happens.
Huh?
If that happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
if it happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say when it happens. Probably not going to be enough time for Impact, but I will rely on my two co-hosts to keep me informed with the Impact news, because we had a big pay-per-view Sacrifice that, again, we aren't going to get to watch because we're recording Friday night. But we're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll come back next pod and talk the after effects of it. So, Jovan, I'm going to throw it off to you, our Impact correspondent. Go ahead.
I will be your Impact sommelier today.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Real quick and easy, everybody. If you are not watching Impact Wrestling, if you are not doing anything on Tuesday nights, do yourself a favor, watch Impact.
Yes, please.
Last week, my match of the week, which you should go out of your way to watch, came from Impact Wrestling. This week, maybe my pick of the week is going to come from Impact Wrestling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These guys are putting on a hell of a product.
Yep.
So, without further ado, the matches on Impact that were worth of note. Ace Austin went against Chris Bay. Now, two top guys in the X division. Ace Austin, of course, is the number one contender to TJP, who is Manic, who is TJ Perkins from the WWE. That's the champ. That's the X division champ. So, you get top contender Chris Bay against number one contender. These two tore the house down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're catching a theme, these barn burners and TNA are coming from the X division, because Josh Alexander, a few weeks ago, tore the house down in an X division match. This week, Chris Bay and Ace Austin tore the house down in the X division. This is the marquee division of TNA. This is what put Impact on the map all those years ago. Guys, the resurgence of the X division is here. These guys are killing it. DDJ, what'd you think of the match?
Oh, God. You really encapsulated it about as best as you can. I mean, back and forth, and what did they go? Probably at least almost 20 minutes, you would say, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Got real close to 20.
Yeah, and it was just, it's back and forth, and just, like Jovanni said, if you guys aren't watching Impact, you need to figure out a way to watch it. You said, if your cable provider does not have it, try checking on, Impact or Impact Plus, because I believe they usually upload the episodes about 2 or 3 days afterwards. So usually by the weekend, you can watch it. What's that?
Impact's Twitch.
Yeah, Impact. Watch it on Twitch. Even if you don't get a chance to watch it, go on YouTube and watch the highlights, because but you guys really should do yourselves a favor and watch Impact, because it's just like Jovanni said, they week in and week out, these guys putting on a tremendous show. This match was no exception. And like Jovanni said, this match showed why the X division is the premier division in Impact Wrestling and what differentiates Impact from everybody else, because nobody else does stuff like this. Exactly. We had a great match with these two guys. Don't be surprised if this gets mentioned a little bit later on when we give our picks of the week.
Oh, yeah. Now, DDJ, we're going to play a little bit of fortune teller and give in some information on who we think may either lose their belt, or who may win a belt, or who may win a big match at Sacrifice. So I want to hit on 3 matches in particular that are pretty much the cornerstone or backbone of Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with 1. Finn Juice versus the Good Brothers for the tag titles.
Okay.
2, Deonna Purrazzo versus ODB for the women's knockouts champion. And 3, that big match that was signed. The Madman, the one and only TNA heavyweight champion Moose versus the Impact champion Rich Swan, title for title. Out of those 3 matches, DDJ, who do you think has a chance to pull that upset and who gets the big win?
Honestly, realistically, between those 3 matches, I mean, I don't, though. Well, I mean, we're getting one person is losing their championship in the main event, provided there's no screwy finishes. So I guess the cheap answer would be go with that match because someone's guaranteed to lose the title. But to be honest with you, I don't see the other 2. Like, I don't see Deanna losing her title to ODB, and I don't see the Good Brothers losing their titles to Finjuice. I mean, I think if I can take it a step further, I think if anybody stands a chance at losing his or her title, it's going to be TJP. I would not be surprised to see Ace Austin, win back the X Division Championship and possibly set up, a fantastic series of matches with Chris Bay, because again, I would love to see those 2 go at it one more time. And the only thing that would make it sweeter is putting that X Division title on the line. But going kind of down the line real quick, like I said, Good Brothers, it's been Finjuice has looked great, since they've been in Impact Wrestling. But yeah, right now you can't take those titles off the Good Brothers. They're just too damn good, and them getting the exposure, those belts on Dynamite every week, does nothing but help Impact Wrestling get its name out there, because you can see, you see the Good Brothers show up with the Impact tag titles on Dynamite, be like, oh yeah, I should probably check out Impact Wrestling and see what these guys are doing. So I think it'd be foolish to take those titles off. ODB is clearly back in the knockouts division or she likes to call it the knocked up division, to help put over the younger talents, much like Deanna Purrazzo. And I don't see anything different happening. I definitely see Deanna winning because she's on another level right now when it comes to the knockouts division. And as for the main event, we've all spoken very highly of Moose. I've been really the only one that's really stuck up for Rich Swan in all of this, and I will continue on that aspect to die on that sword, or however that saying goes. I think we're going to get Rich Swan coming out with both championships to set up that just major implications match with Kenny Omega, where we could possibly, I don't know if it's been officially confirmed yet, but do not be surprised if we get another title for title, champion versus champion match here at Rebellion.
Well, DDJ shot his shot a little early, so let me tear through it real quick.
Trust me, that doesn't happen often.
It's all right. When you get a certain age, it happens. But I agree with you on the matches. I think TJP is the only champion that's not in the winner-take-all match at the end of the night that may actually lose that title, and that's saying something because TJP is a hell of a worker, but
he is.
Ace Austin I don't know how many times we could call that man the future without it sinking into everybody who doesn't watch that this dude is literally the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, main event. It was confirmed by Scott D'Amore that the winner of this match, who will hold the big-time heavyweight champions, TNA and Impact, will go one-on-one with Kenny Omega, the AEW heavyweight champion, title for titles at Rebellion. So, Junkyard, if you remember, I spoke about this a few weeks ago. My whole thing is it has to be Kenny Omega versus Rich Swan. Omega goes over Swan, and then Impact is saved by Mr. Impact, Moose. So, this is going to pain me. At Sacrifice, the Moose gets sacrificed, but he comes back and wins the belts when Kenny takes them.
Okay, since I've been the one quiet here, I will chime in here.
Hasn't it been nice, Jovanni?
Wow.
I honestly, I didn't notice.
That's just so rude. For those of you wondering why I need a little break, I'm having some voice problems here this week. Trying to lube up. So if you're watching the video feed, and I'm just, throwing back drinks. I'm not an alcoholic. Don't worry. I'm just trying to, keep the voice fresh. That's all. And
Nice and lubed up.
yes, nice and lubed up there. Okay.
His voice is cracking. He's becoming a man.
And if you're becoming a man and you're getting hair on your peaches like Spencer is for the very first time, you can get that taken care of with our unofficial official sponsor of the Junkyard, Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0. Make sure you groom your peaches, gentlemen, because the ladies do not like the hair.
All right. To let Dennis compose himself. Okay. So for my predictions at Sacrifice, I definitely see all the champions retaining. The only one that might not retain, as you guys keep saying, is Ace Austin versus TJP. Ace Austin has a very good chance to take that title. I don't know if they'll do it there or maybe hold it off at Rebellion, a bigger show. But it definitely could happen at Sacrifice. Now, going into the main event, title for title, Impact Champion Rich Swan versus TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose. You both think Rich Swan is going to win this match. And honestly, he probably should win this match. I have a crazy feeling something is going to go down at Sacrifice. And it pains me to say this. Actually, it doesn't even pain me to say this. It's just, Jovan, I can't believe you can't stick up for your boy. Moose is winning those titles because what better way to make Kenny Omega look like a freaking champ by going against Moose, who is going to destroy Rich Swan. They're going to have a good match, but he's going to destroy Rich Swan. He's going to win both those belts. And then whatever the unification belt is, whatever they come up with that. But then he's going to lose to Kenny Omega. And then that's going to piss him off so much. Then he gets the title back. And he does take the title back from Kenny Omega. So we do have your, he saves Impact again. But he has to lose to Omega after beating Swan at Rebellion. I see better story in that. Just my opinion.
I don't know. I think Swan eking out the win does enough to piss him off, and then have the belts lost to somebody outside of Impact pisses him off to where he takes it to that next level. And we know Moose versus Omega is going to be a banger because at the damn pay-per-view when he Spanish flied Omega, I said I need to see a match of this.
Yeah. I think we both agree. It doesn't matter like who wins this match, and because we know Kenny Omega is more than likely going to win at Rebellion, but we do both agree in the end, Moose, even if he gets the title back or he gets it for the first time, is taking that title off Omega. So I think we can both agree on that, correct?
Yes. And who wins in all of this? The fans win. We all win.
Exactly.
Definitely. And with Omega, more than likely getting the Impact World Championship, or again, whatever they decide to do with the merging and everything, he's going to go after, all those belts and everything. So that storyline is ramping up now. We were promised the belt collector, and we're going to start getting the belt collector. So I'm very excited for that. And hopefully we get a little more, Impact, AEW crossover, and maybe bring some of those other companies in. So we'll see. So that was it for Impact. So again, guys, if you're not watching Impact, you can either watch on Access TV, Twitch. They do it at the same time as Access TV, or Dennis did say, the next day or two after on Impact Plus. So make sure you guys do that. Yep. And then Sacrifice is an Impact Plus pay-per-view. So if anything, just at least check out the main event because that's sure to be probably the most talked about thing for sure. Okay, moving on to the Wednesday Night Wars for now. Okay, so NXT, there were two big announcements General Manager William Regal had. The first one was he announced a new takeover. It is going to be the first ever 2-night takeover. It's going to be the Wednesday before WrestleMania. That's their usual time slot. Yeah. And then the Thursday, but that one is going to be on Peacock. It's going to be called NXT Stand and Deliver, nights 1 and night 2. So that was your first big announcement. your second big announcement, and if you've been reading the dirt sheets or, even keeping up with Pro Wrestling Junkies, we've kind of already spoiled it, but it's already been out there. It was announced that NXT has their own women's tag team titles now. So those titles were awarded to the winners of the Women's Dusty Cup Finals, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So they were awarded the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. That's a mouthful, and yes, I know what you're thinking now. With NXT and WWE, they have a lot of titles, and yes, they do. But you got champions, you got to have challengers. So the team that Dakota and Raquel beat in the Dusty Cup, they wanted first crack at the championships. So they faced Shotzi Blackheart, and Ember Moon got in their face and, convinced them, hey, go ahead and put those titles on the line. So later in the night, we got a championship match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships versus all the teams involved I just mentioned. Great match, a lot of back and forth action, but in the end, and not even holding on to those titles for about an hour, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez lose the NXT tag team titles to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon after Raquel and I think Ember are like on the outside, and then Shotzi pushes Dakota Kai and then basically does a bridge on her 1, 2, 3. They win. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, what the hell are you doing? This is stupid WWE booking. Did Vince somehow find his way to NXT to book this shit? And I still kind of agree with that. But then I saw the aftermath where Dakota and Raquel were talking like, hey, even if we didn't have the titles for like 1 second, 1 day, 5 weeks, whatever it was, they were still the first NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. But then Io comes in. She steps to Raquel Gonzalez after her match with Tony, which we'll get into in a minute. And she says, hey, I want you next. So it looks like after all that, we are getting Io versus Raquel Gonzalez, more than likely at one of the takeovers, Stand Deliver night 1 or night 2, is more than likely going to be happening there. So I know that's a lot to unpack, and I kind of unloaded that all together. So let's unpack that right now. So thoughts on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez being your tag team champions, them losing the tag team titles on the same night to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, and your thoughts on Io versus Raquel Gonzalez.
So I guess the way best you can sum it up, it was nice while it lasted. But when I first watched this, I initially hated that they did this. But then I kind of had a day or so to think about, this. And I guess in a way it kind of makes sense because clearly we're getting now, as evidenced by that backstage promo, we're going to finally get Io versus Raquel that we've been talking about basically since War Games when Raquel pinned Io in the women's War Games match. But I also think too, we're going to start maybe seeing some cracks in the foundation between Raquel and Dakota because Dakota's might blame Raquel, even though she got pushed into Raquel. She may blame Raquel for them losing the tag team titles, and maybe Raquel hot take or bold prediction, whatever you want to call it. If this match happens at Stand and Deliver, or whenever it happens, I think this is going to finally be Io losing the title. I think Raquel is taking the title at this point in time. And I could easily see Dakota getting jealous and resentful and, and seeing the wedge even driven further in between those two. So, like I said, initially I hated the decision to, take the titles off Dakota and Raquel. I actually think about it now. I'm okay with it because I think it's setting up for a lot of the future events between these two. And as for the match between Io and Tony, great match and stuff. But, I mean, I didn't think Tony had a shot. But her time will eventually come.
Unpacking the whole first part of that NXT question, the major announcements, the tag team championships, the fake out champions lost in later in the night, which DDJ, when was the last time a debuting title changed hands on the night that it debuted?
I believe that when the 24/7 title debuted.
And that kind of tells you what they think of these titles. Anyway, to start all of this off, there's only one way to tell you how I truly feel about all of this beginning part of the question that we asked. And it comes from Kenan Thompson, a la 2000, maybe 1998. Just why?
As soon as you said Kenan, I'm like, that's where he's going.
It makes no sense. Why do we need 2 nights of TakeOver? Because Mania's 2 nights? I'll leave that alone. Why are we naming it Stand and Deliver? Are they going to have Edward J. Molesmos there talking about how can I teach these wrestlers?
Wasn't Lou Diamond Phillips in that movie too?
Yes, he was. Lou Diamond Phillips. Filipino always plays Mexicans. Good job, Lou Diamond Phillips. Cannot stand Edward James Olmos at times. It must be the face. But Stand and Deliver, horrible name for a pay-per-view event, in my opinion. People might like it. I don't. To make a tag team title for a division that could have just had the tag team titles from the main roster makes no sense. Had they thought about it, they could have taken the titles off of Shayna and Nia because there's no reason they have them.
Mm-hmm.
Let the NXT ladies defend it across all 3 brands. It builds their stock. It builds those titles. And eventually when we see them on the main roster, people are going to be like, oh, I remember her. She was the tag team champion. So, that part out of it. To lose the championship on the night that you're giving it to, that it's given to you. Horrible. We're killing the prestige of the belt before we even get out the jump. I hate that WWE does not value their titles anymore. But I'll get off of that. Io Shirai. And the only thing that saves this for me is that build-up. Her eventual match, the eventual dropping of the title, I'm on board with DDJ, and her eventual call-up. All of that is setting up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Toni Storm, hopefully in a year, maybe a little longer, she'll be in the main event picture as a legitimate title contender. But as of right now, the way they're building it all, it makes storyline sense, but I don't see who else is a female tag team in NXT that's legitimately going to be going after these titles.
You really don't have any other legit tag teams.
So it makes no sense.
I got one. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell the way.
There you go. Okay.
That might be
going to have 3 teams going after one belt.
You see, that's my one issue with these NXT women's tag team belts is that the NXT women's division really isn't that deep enough. I mean, yeah, you've got, Io and Shotzi and Ember and, Raquel and Dakota and Candice and Indy. I mean, you got all these other women as well, too, but a lot of them still have a lot of work to be done. I mean, the only other women that you see really on any regular basis, I mean, you see Xia Li, who's been killing it, but I mean, she doesn't really have anyone she can tag with. I mean,
she'll tag with the person on the throne.
Yeah.
She'll never enter.
Sha or whatever their name is.
Yeah.
That could be, I mean, you could if you do have Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, but Casey's hurt right now, and we don't know how long she's going to be out for. But really, you don't have anyone else. I mean, you're starting to see more of, I believe it's Aaliyah and Jessica Maya as part of the Robert Stone brand, but they still have a lot of work to do. And you got all these other women that just recently signed with NXT and that, but it's just, I would have rather than went the route of Dakota and Raquel winning the WWE women's tag team titles and defending them across all 3 brands, because I just don't think NXT's women's division's big enough to justify having a women's tag team championships.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they made it look like they did because had all the women come out, and it's just like, okay, so you're showing that, oh yeah, we got this big enough roster, but the smart fans know you guys really don't have a lot of people, and you can look at the people the women they had in their tournament. They had to throw teams together to be able to fill the field. So I totally agree with you guys. They should have just took the titles off Shayna and Nia and put them on Dakota and Raquel. And then you could have, still done the whole thing with EO, maybe cost titles or whatever, and build up, and then maybe put them on Shotzi and Ember again. But there should have been no NXT women's tag team titles. It's just going to be another title. Just like the women's tag team titles, we're probably not going to care about in a year, unfortunately. So that's just.
On a side note, you want me to care about those WWE women's tag team championships? Put them on a legit team. Put them on the Riot Squad.
I would love that. Liv Morgan is way, way overdue, but I won't start that because it'll be long.
Yeah, right. But just don't put them on Sasha and Bianca and have them fight at WrestleMania. Just don't do that. That's all we ask. But they might. We'll see.
You don't want tag team champs going at it for the belt? It's always good.
Yeah, we're done.
Yep. Moving on. Okay, so we had a reappearance of an NXT champion who hasn't been seen on NXT Prime TV for a while, and that is NXT Cruiserweight champion Jordan Devlin. Now, hold up. You're probably thinking, wait, the NXT Cruiserweight champion is Santos Escobar. Yes and no. Jordan Devlin actually had the Cruiserweight title and still has the NXT Cruiserweight title. But then, COVID happened. He couldn't make it over here to defend it. So then they held a tournament, which Santos Escobar won, and he became, the NXT Cruiserweight champion. So it looks like we're on a collision course for those two Cruiserweight champions to fight and actually get one undisputed NXT Cruiserweight champion, and it could come as soon as this week on NXT. So what are your thoughts on this potential matchup that is pretty much happening, and who do you think is going to come out on top and be the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight champion?
I, for one, am excited that Jordan Devlin is coming back across the Atlantic Ocean to compete on American soil. I've been a huge fan of his since the inception of the NXT UK brand, which, guys, by the way, if you're not watching it, we said it about Impact, I'm going to say it about NXT UK. Please give it a watch because they put on some great action every week. But I, for one, am really excited about this match. I guess the best way to sum up this match and what I think is going to happen is the King is coming to take back his throne. I think Jordan Devlin's coming back to win the Cruiserweight Championship because, in my opinion, as evidenced by the match he had with Karrion Kross a couple weeks ago, Santos Escobar does not need that Cruiserweight Championship. He's above that division. He's proven that he can hang with the big boys, as evidenced by his the offense he got into that match. So, what I expect to happen is I expect to see Jordan Devlin to become what it's been his all along, and that is the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight champion.
I couldn't agree more, man. I'm pumped. I'm hyped for this match. Devlin is coming back for that title. Main reason Devlin gets it, even though I think storyline wise, it makes sense for Santos to drop it now because Santos just showed that he can roll with the big boys. There's never been an issue on whether he could or couldn't, but they needed to see it. They saw it. It was amazing. Devlin's coming back for that belt. Let Santos move on to bigger and better people. I'm pumped. This works on a multitude of levels that rarely is seen in the WWE.
Jovanni, you're very well known on this show for your multiple hot takes, but I seem to be kind of taking over the hot takes, at least for this episode, and I've got another one.
Oh, here we go.
I fully believe that Santos Escobar is going to be that Latin American, Hispanic, Mexican star that the WWE has been looking for the number of years. He's going to take that spot that people like Sin Cara should have taken, like Alberto Del Rio. I think they finally are going to get it. They're finally going to have their guy in Santos Escobar because I expect him to do big things, not only in NXT, but in WWE when he gets called up.
El Hijo del Fantasma. The son of the legendary Fantasma from AAA Wrestling is the guy with the purple mask and the black circles around his eyes. That is Santos Escobar's father. He has lineage. He is from a wrestling family. Crossover Mexican stars to make it big in the Hispanic, Luchaverse have to have a legacy. I think that's where Sin Cara fell flat, plus the botches. Nobody really had that connection that really endeared them to Sin Cara. Alberto Del Rio, he had the legacy. Dos Caras was his family in Mexico in AAA. Alberto Del Rio, unfortunately, didn't live up to the family name. The family was better than he was, worker-wise. And he never really was able to connect with the fans because as a heel, you hated him, but not for the right reasons. You just hated Alberto Del Rio. You didn't want to hate him to see him get beat up. You just hated him, period. One that could have gotten close, that didn't really get the opportunity, and I think he may now, due to recent events, would be La Sombra from AAA. We know him here. And that is family lineage from AAA in Mexico. That is the one and only Andrade Cien Almas. He has all the makings in the world to be that next breakout star that they want for the Latino people. But booking decisions, Zelina Vega getting out of there, him losing his mouthpiece. Who knows what we do with Almas? Because Almas wants out. But it's reported that he may have been denied that. You get freaking Santos Escobar right now. He is killing it. He's killed it since Lucha Underground when he was King Cuerno. The American population, if they were at least somewhat knowing of wrestling beyond the WWE, knows this guy. That's going to help him when he transitions to the main roster. This truly, like DDJ said, he could be that breakout star that Vince has wanted to replace Rey Mysterio with.
Yep.
Guys, I couldn't agree with you anymore tonight. I think that, honestly, that's not even a hot take. I think it will happen. Santos Escobar will be the guy that replaces Rey Mysterio. Alberto Del Rio, Sin Cara, even Andrade, they were close. But just the way they were booked and getting over with the fans, no. Santos Escobar has all the makings to be that star. And unlike Rey Mysterio, who did it with a mask, this guy got the mask taken off of him and will be able to do it without it. And I think it could even be a hotter take than, Rey Mysterio could have the possibility of getting more over than Rey Mysterio.
Ooh.
Oh no, Ray's a legend.
Ray
legend.
That's a tall task.
Hey,
He might be up to the task, but that's a tall order.
I think it does start with taking the NXT Cruiserweight title off of him and going after that NXT North American. Hell, even give him the NXT Championship down the line. But he's going to have to wait a little bit for that because we got to talk about that main event, guys. Adam Cole, Finn Balor, NXT title on the line. These two fought before, and then when they did fight back on Super Tuesday Night 2, Finn Balor beat Adam Cole to win the NXT Championship. That was after, Keith Lee had to vacate it. They needed somebody to win the title. They fought to draw, and they came back. Finn Balor beat Adam Cole. So then we run it back again. This is after Adam Cole basically blows up the Undisputed Era, but he still has the nerve to come out to the Undisputed Era, wear all the Undisputed Era, armband, put up the logo, the signs, everything just screams Undisputed Era. He's like, no, the Undisputed Era was my thing. And they put it over perfectly on commentary. The Undisputed Era was designed and, in the beginning, it wasn't that, but it was basically designed to help Adam Cole keep the gold. And they couldn't have said that any better. So, he claimed ownership of the Undisputed Era. So then, Finn Balor comes out. Okay, we start the match. Great back and forth action. There was no doubt these two were going to put on a barn burner, a must-see match. Yes, please go out of your way and watch this match for sure. It's a great NXT Championship match. But we're going to come towards the end. The two are fighting. They come to the outside. Adam Cole sees the returning Kyle O'Reilly in the badass denim jacket, just looking like a rock star, basically. He sees him, and then that distracts him. Finn Balor comes back into the ring. I think he hits the 1916 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor retains the NXT tag team. The NXT championship. Again, lots of championships to keep up with. So the main title. So Finn Balor is still your NXT champion. And then Kyle O'Reilly comes into the ring afterwards, and Adam Cole is kind of like begging with him. It's like, don't do that, whatever. Don't attack me. But then, he goes to, the ball shot. But then Kyle O'Reilly counters it like, no, I'm not that stupid. And he just like lays into him, just like starts pounding on him. Yep. And then they just go at it. And then they go to the outside of the ring. They're fighting. Drake, the referee, tries to get involved. Kyle O'Reilly pushes him off. They're just going at it. And then Kyle O'Reilly wants to do what Adam Cole wanted to do. Finn Balor drop a suplex onto the stairs, but then the referee coming out and stopped them. So that's done for now. And cannot wait for that match. More than likely going to be at TakeOver. That's going to be a hell of a match based on their past history and everything, even outside of this company. But then we have Finn Balor in the ring. It's about to cut to black. Whatever TV show, Grizzly or whatever, it's about to come on. But who's behind Finn Balor? And he says this line, "What took you so long?" Camera pans out. Karrion Kross. Tick, tock, done. Whew. What a way to go out on NXT. First, you had a fantastic NXT championship match, and then you have great aftermath. So, again, let's unpack that. What did you guys think of the match? Did you think it was the right call keeping the title on Finn Balor? And what about Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole? More than likely going to happen at one of the takeovers. And then Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross, again, probably going to take place at one of the takeovers. Thoughts on all that?
Finn Balor and Adam Cole, baby. Look, man, these two guys can work. There's no way this match was going to be any type of just horrible, untechnical. No, these guys are workers. They are the workhorses of this brand. Hell of a show, hell of a match. But like Spencer said, what stole the match's thunder was everything that happened after it. Damn it, NXT gave us story right after the damn match and going into the lead-in for the final part of the match. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly is going to be a banger. O'Reilly is pissed. Adam Cole is a bitch. He's going to get that ass whoop. This is going to put O'Reilly into that upper echelon. People are going to at least associating him with the upper card, which is all he needs to be able to get that title coming soon, which we keep saying is going to happen eventually.
You heard it here first.
Now, title not changing, excellent call because of how that night ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tick tock. If you do not know what a future champion in the WWE looks like, you have not been paying attention. Vince's wet dream is Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
This man will get the title. He will go on a phenomenal winning streak. He is going to defend that damn title so long. And the one to dethrone him probably will be a Kyle O'Reilly, maybe sometime next year, because once he gets this belt, I see Karrion at least defending for a solid year.
Ooh.
You can't have your monster lose quickly. So Finn Balor went to NXT, rejuvenated his career, maybe found love for wrestling again because his matches in NXT have been amazing. Became the Prince, got the belt, but now it's time to give the belt to the king.
Ooh.
Karrion Kross is here. There's no reason this man should not win this matchup when they have it. I'm going Kross all the way. guys. There's nothing more I got to say. DJ, take it.
I really don't know what to say because I think you pretty much covered everything there. So I'm going to just double down on everything you said. I mean, I was initially thinking that I thought Adam Cole was going to win the title to set up a title match with Kyle O'Reilly, but I think that this feud between Cole and O'Reilly is really more about the broken brotherhood bond than anything else. And when you have something like that, you don't need a championship on the line to be on the line. So I don't have an issue with the result of this. Again, fantastic match. I loved how they played it off like Adam Cole was seeing a ghost when he saw Kyle O'Reilly. And man, Kyle O'Reilly looks like such a badass.
Yeah, he does.
And with that outfit and stuff, and everything. And yeah, I like this. I like the way the setup and everything. I liked how O'Reilly tried to pull the same move on Cole, that Cole did to him, only to be stopped by the referees and officials, which kind of, seems to be a recurring theme this week in WWE because we saw it on Smackdown as well, and we also saw the referees get involved in the match between Drew and Sheamus on Raw. So, but man, though, I got chills when they were getting ready to go to to cut fade to black, and Balor's like, "What took you so long?" And then you pans up and you see Karrion Kross, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that is so awesome!" Because you knew it had to happen sooner or later. It had to happen, and like Jovanni said, and I'll double down on it again. Karrion Kross is whenever these two step foot in the ring, which I think is going to be the main event of night 2, because usually when you as WrestleMania, you had the Boneyard match, which is a real special occasion, but a lot of times your main event of WrestleMania is always the title match, and this is basically Takeover's WrestleMania, and you got to have on the most important night, you got to have the biggest stakes, the biggest prize in the game on the line, and that's the NXT Championship. So I fully expect to see night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, ending with Kross holding the title that he never lost in the ring.
There you go.
That's very, very true. The only thing that can keep Karrion Kross from keeping that title as long as Jovan wants him to, is injury. Hopefully he can avoid that again. He doesn't have to relinquish the title. I think I incorrectly said that's the title that Keith Lee lost. No, that's the title that Karrion Kross had to relinquish. Then they had the tournament. That's how it came about. So just recorrecting that. But yes, I'm tripling down with you guys. I think Finn Balor has had an amazing run on NXT. I think it's time for him to drop that title, go back up to Raw and SmackDown, prove what his time in NXT has done for him. Maybe get him back up into that Universal title picture, WWE title picture again, because that dude totally deserves the main title on WWE brand, the top brand, for sure. But Karrion Kross, if he can stay healthy, he will hold that title for a very long time. I'm doubling down with Jovan on that one. This man is a champion. He's already proved he can be a champion. And once he wins that title, he will be the champion and the monster that NXT needs right now. And the man that will get dethroned. And I do think Kyle O'Reilly will win that title. And he will beat Karrion Kross to become a super over babyface, but not until he gets done with his stuff with the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole.
You know what, gentlemen? While we're doubling down on everything, I'm gonna throw one in there too, real quick, just so we can make it official again. Karrion Kross, my man, you better believe you're on my list.
Yeah, there's no question. Karrion Kross, he is living life, and after he gets that title, we are going to hate you even more.
Smoke show.
Definitely. That's the only thing we needed tonight, was a little Scarlett, maybe just in the background or something. But her time will come, and that entrance, that takeover, that's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
But guys, it's time to take a little break before we get into the AEW action for Dennis's favorite new segment here on the Junkyard. So go ahead, get your pillow.
Oh, got my Sting buddy. I got my blankie.
Oh my God.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I think we need to set the mood. So hold on. All right, everybody. The lights are on. I think it's time to talk some Dark Order. So here is your weekly Dark Order news update.
This is the Dark Order news update. I'm Walter Cronkite.
All right, so first thing we're going to talk about with the Dark Order, you got to talk about what made the Dark Order get as over as they have, as being the elite. So, as we found out from Revolution, Hangman Adam Page won the big money match and got the first quarter earnings, or I think 25% of the first quarter earnings, whatever it was. He got all that money. So then the Dark Order are super happy for him. They take his credit card, they buy him whiskey, they buy him rum, they buy him drugs and everything. And then Hangman's like, no, I just, the big running thread is, and then somebody actually posted a video. Hangman has always wanted a lawnmower, like a big, nice riding lawnmower, ever since last year. And now with this money, he finally got one, and we saw the results on that on Dynamite. But then he was like, "Guys, you charged it on my card?" It's like, yeah, and they were like, "Yeah," but then he was like, "No, I kind of told them to, give that money to charity or whatever. I don't really need it. I just wanted the mower and maybe some whiskey or something." And they were like, "Oh, crap." And then, they started talking. And then they mentioned Anna Banana, Anna J, who, update real quick, she had a successful surgery, successful shoulder surgery. She's going to be out, I think, for 6 to 8 months. But it's nice to see that her surgery went successful. So we can't wait for you to come back, girl. We know you're going to kill it when you come back. The Dark Order needs their Queen Slayer again. So Anna J, wishing you a very speedy recovery. Take your time. Don't rush it. And we will see you when you come back into the ring, because we know you're going to kill it. But before we got done with BTE, there's been like a little, back and forth interaction on Twitter between one Japanese superstar, Maki Ito, and John Silver. And then right at the end, as they're talking about Anna Jay, it's like, oh, who could replace Anna Jay? And then Maki Ito comes out, and she's like, "Surprise, motherfuckers!" So I don't know if that thread will be continued on BTE, but stay tuned. Moving on to Dynamite, as I was mentioning, Adam Page, Hangman Page, got a lawnmower, and it is a nice riding lawnmower. Like, if I had a lot of grass to cut, that's what I would be doing. So then he comes out in like a backstage area, whatever, and then all the Dark Order start piling on the lawnmower. And, there's a big photo and everything going around. That's on my lock screen on my phone. It used to be the Christmas photo they took, but I replaced it with that. But, they had to leave Poor 5 off because there was no room on the lawnmower, so that sucks. But that photo and another photo that showed a matchup on AEW Dark Elevation, which will have starts on March 15th, so that will have already aired. It's Tay Conti. She's coming out with -1, and then of course Adam Hangman Page is hanging out with the Dark Order. So, and I've posted this on Twitter, and I've basically tagged all the Dark Order members. And I'm like, guys, I think we just need to make it official. We need to make Hangman Adam Page and Tay Conti official members of the Dark Order. Hangman, I think it's definitely coming, and just a matter of time before that officially happens. Tay is more by association with Anna Jay, and now hanging out with -1. I think that's coming sooner rather than later. So when that eventually comes, we will welcome Hangman Adam Page and Tay Conti to the Dark Order, and can't wait for their t-shirts, and I will add them to the collection. That's it for the Dark Order news update. Hold on one sec before I wake my guys up. There we go. Had to bring it back from the purple. All right, Dennis, Jovan, wake your asses up. Or hold on, like the TikTok meme. Jovan, Dennis, wake your ass up.
God, I don't know why, but I felt like I dreamt of this freaking loser, this jabroni ass man named Jorge Conti. Jorge Conti, that's right. I was dreaming about whooping that ass, boy, in my dreams. I heard Spencer subconsciously mention Tay Conti. That kicked in my brain, you, sir. I may have said it once. I may have said it twice. May have said it 3 times. But when I find you, no matter where it is at, I will go into your local Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. And while you're rolling on the floor like a little bitch, I will drop the 4 most deadly letters in all of pro wrestling on your candy ass. That is WORM. You're going to be rolling on the floor out of nowhere trying to choke somebody out. And you're going to see whoop, 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 whoop. Worm, motherfucker. I'm coming for you, Jorge. Get ready.
Man, I had the weirdest dream. I felt like I was in hell, and the torture I was subjected to was listening to Spencer talk about the Dark Order. Oh wait, that actually. Oh my God, is this hell?
That actually happened, buddy.
Yes, and it happens every week here on the Junkyard. So expect another one next week.
I'll have my pillow and blanket ready.
All right. Let's get into AEW now. The real stuff that happened there. So first off, the night started. We got to talk about, Revolution. We had talked about it on the pay-per-view, our recap show, kind of feeling iffy about it. But to just kind of starting off with Dynamite and just an overall feeling of Dynamite, with the way they ended on Revolution, I think AEW rebounded in a fantastic way from, not a subpar pay-per-view, but just a horrible ending the way it went down, because we got a fantastic promo between Mox and Eddie Kingston. They're drinking buddies now. So, they were talking, and Eddie Kingston was talking about the moment he went to go lay on Mox, and he was saying, he was back from like when he was in jail and the heat and everything, and he couldn't get up, and like the war times and everything, and that explanation that I'm not even doing that justice. But seriously, go out of your way and watch that promo. It was amazing. It just proves how great Eddie Kingston is when you give him a live mic or even a recorded mic. That dude spits gold. And then just the interaction with Mox, and now that we have this face turn with Eddie Kingston, I loved heel Eddie Kingston, but the way they're incorporating what happened on Revolution with the lack of explosion in the exploding barbed wire death match, and now incorporating Eddie Kingston into this Mox storyline with Kenny, I'm all for it. And if we get Kenny versus Eddie Kingston just in a match, even if Kenny goes over, I'm all for it. I think that could be a phenomenal match. But then going on a little bit later in the night, this goes into that segment. Christian Cage is supposed to, be making an announcement and everything, and Tony's ready. But then Kenny comes out. He calls out Mox and Kingston and everything. But then Kingston gets in Eddie's face, and the Good Brothers there, of course. And he's like, whatever. And then Kenny says, hey, go ahead and take a shot. First one's free. And Kingston is just like, and he is outnumbered. Even Don Callis is in there, so it's 4 against 1. And he's just like, okay, hops them, and then he just takes the beating, and he knows it's coming. And then Mox comes out, helps too, but then Christian Cage finally comes out. He gets in Kenny Omega's face, and then after everybody disperses out of the ring, AEW World Championship left in the middle of the ring. Christian Cage reaches up, he grabs it, he looks at it, and it's just like, I wonder what could happen with that. I mean, he doesn't say anything. It's just, looking. So we're doing like a whole thing, like we're just kind of mixing things together, but they all flow together. So let's break that down. The Mox and Kingston interaction and where that's going, but then coming back into when the Christian Cage thing, even though that wasn't supposed to be with Kenny, but it happened to be. thoughts on all that, maybe even a possible Eddie Kingston versus Kenny. And then let's talk a little bit about Christian Cage. Them inserting him possibly into this world title picture so soon. Thoughts on that? So I know a lot to unpack, but let's just get into it.
Well, like you said at beginning of when we got into the AEW, they needed to have about as good a Dynamite as you possibly could. Coming off the ending of Revolution, like you said, it was a good show, but that ending kind of killed it for a lot of people. They basically it was like the fourth quarter, and they had to take that shot to and it had to go in. Like they had to take a full court shot for the win, and that was what you call nothing but net, because they rebounded from the what happened at Revolution about as well as you possibly would have wanted them to. I mean, starting off with that promo with Kingston and Mox. Eddie Kingston's been gold on the mic, and this is probably his best promo to date, because every time he talks, he speaks from the heart. But this one too, I think this one really saved AEW, because it was a great way to cover up what happened at Revolution with the botched ending. That being said, absolutely would not mind Kingston versus Mox in a one-on-one match. Looks like we're getting tomorrow night on Dynamite. We're going to get Kingston and Mox versus the Good Brothers, which should be a wild brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Going into Christian Cage's involvement in this, a lot of people are going to sit there and bitch and complain. Oh, he's already in the world title picture. Rah, 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 rah. You know what? With someone like Christian, you know what? Where you don't start him at the bottom, you start him at the top, because he is a top level talent. And he is, nobody, I don't expect him to win the title, but I expect him to have a great match with Kenny Omega if that happens. And I think that's what it's all about. I think it's going to be one of those things where Christian's going to put over Kenny Omega to help legitimize Kenny even more. But all in all, show was great way to rebound from what happened at Revolution. Kingston is gold on the mic.
I agree with everything you said. Everything from the show being absolutely what it needed to be after the fizzled out bombs. I agree with Christian's positioning. I agree with Kingston versus Omega. I agree with Christian versus Omega. And I will put this out there. Fans who are upset about Christian Cage picking up the title belt, possibly signaling that he's going to be going after the main title, understand that this is not a signee that's coming in maybe after 5-6 years in the business. Christian Cage has been in this business that you get a certain part of you get to a certain space where people just kind of deserve it. If anybody deserves the opportunity to go against the champ, to try to put over the champ, to try to show they still have it, it's Christian Cage. Okay? AEW has shown their position on Christian Cage by hyping up his entrance. His first shirt tells you all you need to know about him. Outwork everybody. AEW is telling you what you need to hear with Christian Cage. Christian Cage is not going to be a part-timer. Christian Cage is here for the long haul. He's here to work every show. He's here to put people through the ringer. So, Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega, I'm in. Moxley versus Kenny Omega, I'm in. Kingston and Omega, I've been in. Mox and Kingston doing whatever they're going to do together, sign me up. Everything that they did sets up a multitude of different paths that they could take, all of which I'm 100% fine with. So what if the little explosions didn't go off the way we wanted it to? They made a storyline like they do with every other big botch.
Mm-hmm.
At least we can move on.
Yep.
And things are looking up. If they had came out and had a shit show, then yeah, we could talk shit about it. But they didn't. They put on a great show.
Definitely, for sure. And, even though the finish was botched, hey, you can get a cool t-shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees. Moxley was repping that. So he was like, hey, match sucked it, but at least I got this cool t-shirt.
I already won.
Of course you did.
Mark.
Such a mark.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
actually, my name's Dennis, but you guys should already have known that we're 20 hours.
all right. So the next thing we're going to move on to, and I'm going to lump these in together. So
the theme of the night.
Yes, very lumpy night. Okay, so first off, we had Matt Jackson versus Phoenix after Phoenix and Pac won the right to face the Young Bucks for the AEW tag team titles after they won that Casino Tag Team Royale match. Those two had a fantastic match. In the end, Phoenix got the win over Matt Jackson, so it'll be interesting to see if there might take titles and put them on Death Triangle. I don't think so. I think the Bucks will keep them. Next thing, after a really good cinematic match, Tony Schiavone continues his trend of interviewing Sting, but we get an interesting wrench in that. Lance Archer comes out and gets in Sting's face, so we possibly could be getting Lance Archer versus Sting. Both kind of older gentlemen. Sting way older, but Lance not a young fella himself, so be interesting where they go with that direction. And then we had the 6-woman tag team match with Britt Baker, Maki Ito, and Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, totally blanking there, Hikaru Shida, and Girl Okada. I can't remember her name right now.
Ryo Mizunami.
Thank you.
I haven't been able to remember her name for the last 3 episodes.
I haven't even been able to get it right, so.
No, probably not. Okay, so they had their 6-woman tag team match. Great match overall. There was a great part where Maki Ito, she comes out, but she does her entrance and she's the fallen pop idol. So she sings her song, but then Ryu Mizunami and Thunder Rosa and Sheeta all come out and they start attacking Britt and Nyla and everybody. And then she steps to Sheeta and knocks her with a microphone. Not great, I might add. Some captions kind of make fun of that part and her singing too. But in the end, the heels get the win, and it was announced for this Wednesday's Dynamite. We are getting, I think, the first ever women's match main eventing Dynamite, and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in a lights out match.
Yep.
That feud has been so hot. The first match was great. Then we wanted another match with the women's tournament. We thought we were going to get that there. We didn't. But now we're getting that feud coming back again. And now we're getting a lights out match. And just be careful. There are spoilers out there for this upcoming Wednesday Dynamite. But the person that spoils them was actually nice enough to leave them off because he said that match is something you need to watch. So can't wait to see that. So let's talk about those 3 things there. So again, that was Phoenix versus Matt Jackson, Sting, Lance Archer possible feud, and then the 6-woman leading into Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa on this Wednesday's Dynamite.
Phoenix versus Matt Jackson. Amazing match, a great way to start the show and definitely get this feud off and running. Very strong consideration was given to this match when it comes to determining my pick for match of the week. Did this match win? We'll find out in a little bit. But going on to Sting versus Lance Archer, definitely wasn't expecting to see Lance Archer there, but you know what? I'll give it a shot with these two. I don't know what to expect. It's not going to be Flair versus Steamboat. It's probably going to be something more along the lines of Vader versus Stan Hansen, and just the brutality and stuff. But you know what? I'm interested to see where this goes. That 6-woman tag team match was a lot of fun, and yes, I loved Maki Ito singing, while her teammates are getting beat up in the ring. The shots with the microphone, though, yeah, you might want to do a little bit more work on that. One thing I do want to add on to all that, though, boy, did it get real personal real quickly between Penta El Cero Miedo and Cody. And how about Alex Abrahantes kind of playing the role of the translator? And I kind of liked it, and stuff. So, but yeah, and we're getting that match on this upcoming episode of Dynamite. But man,
Right.
that's just a lot of stuff to unpack with all that. And I definitely wanted to give Cody and Penta, because it got real personal. Penta went from switching between speaking English and speaking Spanish, and then Alex Abrahantes would translate. But man, the instant that Penta brought up Cody's soon to be born girl, whoo, buddy, that's one thing. You want to piss somebody off. Jovanni and I can really speak to this because we have kids, man. You want to get us going. You just bring our kids in the conversation where there's no place for that, and that makes it personal real fast. And they went basically from 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds when Penta said what he said about Cody's little girl that's on her way.
Mm-hmm.
The exact quote was, "You're lucky I did not focus on your arm so you can at least still be able to hold your baby girl when she gets here." That's a mic drop.
Them's fighting words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call my shot here. Mr. Penta El Cero Miedo was known in Lucha Underground for breaking people's arms and putting them on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes is going to be the first AEW person to have his arm broken by Penta.
Okay.
Gives him time to go out and be with the wife and kid.
True.
Puts Penta over strong.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what they'll do with Penta from here, because, hey, the dude's a legit draw. He's had some wars. And that match with Vampiro pretty much put him super over.
Yep.
So
my only concern is this: does this mean though that the Death Triangle may be ending? Because it seems like Penta's going the way of being a heel, and then you've got Phoenix and Ray, Phoenix and Pac, excuse me, kind of seemingly like they're playing the roles of baby faces. I mean, is that a possibility that we could maybe be seeing the end of the Death Triangle just because, Penta's going one way and the Phoenix and Pac are going another way?
I never got what the whole thing was with Death Triangle. I didn't understand why they were together. So hopefully they break that up and they could just be Pac and Phoenix. That's okay because they do team well. Penta needs to be out there as a loner. He's shown that him and his brother, of course, some of the best tag teams that you could ever have, up there with in the same vein as the Young Bucks. But he has this ability to shine so much better as a solo artist. So once we start recognizing that and we start giving him that chance, the guy's going to blow off doors. Everybody's going to be shocked at how good Penta is that they haven't already seen his solo work. Real quick, since we lumped up all of AEW,
Still some highlights to hit.
Archer and Sting. Only thing I'm going to say is, even Stinger dies. I want to see Lance Archer pick him up and drop him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sting did the powerbomb from Cage. I need to see Archer just boom.
What do they call that move? Where he basically has him in a reverse razor's edge and he drops him over the...
I can't remember for the life of me.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the razor's edge. Hernandez has called it the border toss. It's been called like various different things, but I don't know what Archer calls
the blackout, I think, is what it was.
That's weird.
I think that's what it is, a blackout or something.
What, his finisher? Yeah, it's called the blackout.
That's weird. Last thing that I want to hit on, I'm not going to touch on the women's match. You guys pretty much cover that really well. I will say this. After that match of the night with Matt Jackson and Phoenix, which was freaking amazing. Awesome match. Literally was top contender for match of the week, in my opinion. We get the TNT title match between Darby Allin and Reach for the Sky. Scorpio Sky. Great match. Fantastic match. But I think the storytelling was better than the match itself.
Yes.
The commentary team put over, in fact, that Scorpio Sky came in through the face tunnel and left through the heel tunnel. So the change is happening. I think this is where we get a more ruthless and angry Scorpio. That's where this belt is probably going to end up pretty soon.
Yeah. When that match happened, I was like, okay, the match was great. But then, and it's kind of, you could see the tendencies like from last week with him on commentary and him acting how he did in the Face of the Revolution match. It was coming. I didn't think it was coming this soon, but I think it was the right call because you have SCU with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels who are focusing on, they're the number one contenders after whoever wins the match between Phoenix and Pac and the Young Bucks. They're the next in line to go after the tag team titles. And then their whole storyline is if they lose, they never tag again, which more than likely will probably happen. So those two are tied up in that. So why keep Sky, the boring babyface? And he had, been getting over, but not very well. Why not have him do something differently? And I think doing this heel turn and him possibly getting that TNT title is 100% the right call.
Yes.
Cool. Easy enough. We agree on that. Shall we get into the big main event segment now?
Let's do it.
There wasn't a match that ended Dynamite?
Oh, no, not this time.
No.
Yes, Akimbe Mutombo. Okay, so we had the Inner Circle War Council. At Revolution, both Chris Jericho and MJF agreed changes needed to be made, and holy shit, changes were made. But that's burying the lead. So they come out, they start talking. They're like, hey, whenever in the heat of battle, they need to change up their game plan. They call a war council, and they start going back and forth, whatever. Jericho speaks MJF, and then right before Jericho even says, oh, yeah, maybe we need to add some new members. But then MJF's like, no. Maybe we need to take some new members out. And just a quick cut into this, there are rumors that the new member that was going to be added was one Thea Trinidad, which could still happen, but we'll get into that.
Don't forget about Sammy.
Yeah, we're getting there. So after MJF says, no, we need to take people out, right like after that or so, Sammy Guevara's music hit, and we're like, oh shit, Sammy's back. And then Chris Jericho's like, I never wanted to see your face again. Like, we were done. And Sammy gets in Chris Jericho's face, like, you have to see this video. So, he shows when they're all backstage and everything. Sammy set up a video. It shows MJF was talking to Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager saying, hey, I think we all agree that Chris Jericho is the weak link. We got to turn on him and, cut him out of the group. And they totally agree. So then we come back and Sammy and Chris Jericho are like, oh, shit. So then Jake Hager, Santana, Ortiz, turn their backs and they're with MJF, right? And they're going to attack Sammy and Chris. Nope, because the Inner Circle sticks together, baby. So it was like, oh man, MJF is screwed. He's about to get beat. He's in the corner. He's crying like a little bitch. And he's like, oh, you didn't think I planned for this? Oh, you have not been paying attention. Blackout, we come back. Oh, we come back. We see Wardlow, FTR, Sean Spears, Tully Blanchard. They're all in the ring, and they just start wrecking shop, destroying Santana's. Ortiz, FTR, focus on them. And then Sean Spears puts, curb stomps Sammy Guevara's head through a chair on the side turnbuckle. Wardlow's destroying Jake Hager. They beat the shit out of Chris Jericho. He is bleeding. Then FTR sets up Santana Ortiz, Tully Blanchard does like the dual pile driver, and then they take Chris Jericho with MJF leading everything, take him over to a table. Wardlow picks him up, almost drops him, it looks like, but he picks him up. Bloody Chris Jericho power bombs the ever-loving shit out of him into a table. And we end on Dynamite, or right before, Chris Jericho's face is just bloody, messed up, and the new faction with MJF, FTR, Shawn Spears, Wardlow, and Tully Blanchard is standing tall at the end of the night. Now, before we get into that, I want to go ahead and say this. This more than likely is the new Four Horsemen faction. We don't know a name yet. I think it's been rumored and leaked, but no one knows for sure. But I did call for Cody Rhodes to be that member. And up until that point, I stuck with it. But after I saw what I saw on Wednesday night with MJF, I am 100% okay and on board. Now, do I need to see more from them before I get totally on board with them? Yes, but the way Dynamite ended, and nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought this was where they were going with all of this. AEW, Pro Wrestling Tees, whenever you drop that shirt, just go ahead and take my money now. I don't even care what the damn name is. I'm all in on it. So, guys, have at it. Talk about it.
Man, they could call that group We Hate Spencer Cantor, and he would still buy that shirt.
Hell yes, I would.
I'd buy two.
I would too, just to support.
Yeah. But anyways, though, but no. We all knew this Horseman type group was coming, but I don't think we expected it to happen like this. But man, are we like Spencer said, he called for Cody to be that last member, but he said he was okay with the MJF. I'm going to double down on that. I really like this group. I definitely think that we're finally going to get 1 year later, we're going to get that blood and guts match that we were supposed to have last year. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because when this match was originally supposed to happen, the Inner Circle were clearly the heels here, and now they're in the role of the babyface. So it's a little interesting.
Yep.
But, it's great to see Sammy back. Sammy tried to set the record straight, basically saying I kind of told you so or whatever, and that. So, but yeah, I loved it. Again, that this was like the cherry on the Sunday that was this episode of Dynamite, because again, this whole night was about AEW redeeming itself for what happened at Revolution, and boy, did they do that. And like I said, this segment at the end was the cherry on top.
Not a better way to put it, gentlemen. That's really what it was. It tied everything together. It gave you that shock. It gave you that belief that this show, this company knows what they're doing. You can't judge them by mistaken little sparklers that didn't go off as planned. But what they do plan sells, hits home, makes you believe in it, shocks you, wants you to come back next week. I'm 100% bought in. I want to see what the faction's name is. I want to see what they do with it. I'm going to wait before I'm 100% bought in because we've seen good factions kind of come together and sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
But there's enough talent there for me to be at least very intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took out the Jerry Goat. That's a big way to start, man. That's a hell of a start for a team.
Yep.
So I'm down. I'm down with all of it. I cannot wait to see where we go with this. I think AEW was very well with how they booked it. That's all I got.
Okay, so Dennis brought up this point. Blood and guts. We were supposed to get Inner Circle versus the Elite. More than likely, we are leading to that with MJF's faction versus Inner Circle. Could we possibly see that as soon as Double or Nothing?
Yeah, I'd say so.
We've got plenty of time to build.
Yeah, we got about 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
2 months.
2 months.
I definitely think we could get that in.
All right. And that will, if you guys didn't catch the announcement, that will be happening on a Sunday. That's part, I think, Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
May 30th, I believe.
May 30th. So if your work actually lets you have off that Monday, you can go watch it Sunday night, drive back either Sunday night or Monday and still make it back. Or you can watch it at home, stay up with us when we do our Junkyard reaction show. But if the Blood and Guts match is happening, there might be 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 hosts of this podcast that might need to find a way to Jacksonville to see that show, because holy crap, that'll be awesome.
I will hitchhike with truckers if needed.
And I will jump on board as well. But that's it for Dynamite. Guys, just the few things we did, yes, go hit those, but go watch that last main event segment. One of the best swerves I think I've seen in quite some time. So definitely, possibly you might be seeing that again later in the episode, but we'll save that for later. Before we take it home and get to our Junkyard pick of the week, let's give a little bit of love to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which we will be dropping our History of New Japan Guide for Dummies 101, whatever we decide to call it. That will be dropping soon. We actually will be recording that soon as well. Not sure when we're going to put it out, but just be on the lookout for that. We have some very insightful people that will be joining us. I think they're going to bring a lot to the table. It's going to be a very interesting listen. So definitely check that out. But Jovan, hit us with some New Japan news and talk about the New Japan Cup here.
All right. So the New Japan Cup, everyone knows it's a tournament style event. So to open up the night of New Japan, we had David Finlay, one half of Finn Juice, going against some unnamed jobber from the Bullet Club. Finlay went over in a very technical match that he looked great in. He basically carried the jobber like Kenny Omega did the blow-up doll. So David Finlay looked great. With that, the next matchup was Yoshihashi defeating Yorohiro Takahashi. Good match. Not as strong as the David Finlay match because he, like I said, he was a workhorse in that match. But the results of those two matches leads up going against Yoshihashi on March 15th, which is the next showing for the New Japan Cup. Then you get the main event of the evening. Breathe with the Switchblade. Jay White defeated Toa Henare in a banger. The people that love Jay White will love this match. This was classic Jay White. He was on bell to bell. Good, a lot of good back and forth where you maybe felt like Toa had a chance in this, but Jay White does what he does, goes in for the kill, gets the win. Now, that was the match of the show. I know a lot of people rank New Japan shows and they kind of do like a star system 1 to 5 to see how the matches were per show. This got a 4-star rating from people who do the New Japan shows. So, if you want to watch a New Japan show or a match this week, do the Jay White versus Toa Henare. Hell of a match. But wait, there's more. With that win, I know. With that win, King Switch himself has lined up a match against the current Never Wait Open champion, the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tana and Jay White, if that does not excite you, you need to get out of watching wrestling because this is going to be amazing.
All right, well, I'm done.
Real quick before you go on, didn't Jay White defeat Tanahashi to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship?
Yes, this is a match with so much history built into it already. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Tanahashi is in this career resurgence after dropping the Intercontinental Championship, getting the Never Wait, He has looked fantastic. I don't know how he's able to keep those abs at his age. Tanahashi's abs are so freaking ridiculous that he has a COVID mask of just his abs. Okay. And I don't even fault him for it. If I had those abs, I'd put it on a mask too. But that match is going down on the 15th of March as well, along with the along with the David Finlay versus Yoshihashi match. It's hard for me to say which match is going to be the better of the two that night, but you have to think it's going to be Jay White.
Probably.
Yeah.
And that is a small New Japan Pro Wrestling recap of the matches that are leading into March 15th's next round of the New Japan World Cup.
All right, so that's it for talking about all the wrestling. There's one more thing we got to do here on the Junkyard, and it's our Junkyard Picks of the Week. Let's start off with you, Jovan. What is your pick of the week? And just to let the people know, this can either be a match or a moment. So, Jovan, go ahead. What you got?
Two Hotties pick of the week comes to you from Tuesday night Impact Wrestling. Ooh. The matchup of Ace Austin versus Chris Bay. Pay-per-view worthy matchup, pay-per-view worthy match on free TV. I can't put it over enough. Go watch that match.
For me, I'm going to Wednesday night, and I am going with the main event from NXT. I'm going with Finn Balor defending the NXT Championship against Adam Cole. Those two cannot have a bad match. Those two work so well together. But the reason why I went with this match was not only the match itself, but also the aftermath, because it gave a clear indication of where they're going. You had, the great match between the two, in which Finn Balor retained. But afterwards, we saw Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole go at it. Riley coming to get his revenge for what Adam Cole did to him. But then, again, in just that little moment when Finn Balor said, "What took you so long?" And that was just so good. And the camera panned, and next thing you know, you see Karrion Kross standing right behind him. And that's clearly where we're going now, is we're going to see Finn and Karrion go at it and stuff. But just overall, that match and then the aftermath from that, that's my pick of the week.
Two great picks of the week. Two great matches for pick of the week. Now, notice how I put in there matches and moments.
A moment like this.
Some people wait for a moment like this.
All right. I think that's a great way to go into this. But my match or moment comes from Wednesday night, the main event segment. Not NXT, AEW. And then the segment we spent so much time talking about. Guys, it has to be the Inner Circle War Council and everything that came with that segment. The revelations that MJF was going to get everybody to turn on Chris Jericho, but then Chris Jericho being like, no, you don't think we all speak? Then them turning back on MJF. And that was great in itself. But what put it over and made it my Junkyard Pick of the Week is all the stuff that happened after MJF revealed he was forming his own faction the entire time. And we had the reveal of FTR, Shawn Spears, Wardlow, and then Tully was there too as well. But just everything that happened there and them wrecking shop. And we all said it. We are 100% bought in. I mean, not 100%, but we're, we're cautiously optimistic, I think is the best way to put it. But we're totally in on this.
Taking the bait.
Yes, we have taken the bait hardcore for sure.
We're hardcore baiters.
Yes, we're hardcore baiters. Okay, but seriously.
A masturbator.
Oh, my God. So, yes, We've all taken the bait. We're ready to take whatever they give us this Wednesday on Dynamite with the name, the T-shirt, the motives, anything, whatever they want to give us. We're ready. We're ready for the blood and guts. So for all those reasons and everything that this is leading to, this has to be the Junkyard Pick of the Week. Now, that's the moment of the week, but definitely go check out the matches that these two recommended, the Ace Austin versus Chris Bay on Impact, and definitely go check out the Adam Cole versus Finn Balor NXT Championship match on NXT. I watched that myself. It was great. I highly recommend it. Haven't watched Impact. Might seek that one out and check it out. So, but I know Jovan never steers people in the wrong direction. So definitely go check that out. But
try not to.
Sometimes. But yeah, that is going to be it for this week's edition of the Junkyard. Again, make sure you guys stay tuned for our New Japan guide for Dummies 101. Again, whatever we call it. That'll be dropping soon. Again, have some great guests lined up to join us. Spend maybe an hour or so talking New Japan, and kind of maybe this might be the beginning of a series talking about different Japanese promotions and maybe even some other American promotions or even other foreign promotions, more to get people involved and knowledgeable about the world of pro wrestling, because there's so much out there. So stay tuned for that. But guys, make sure you're following on us on all of the Pro Wrestling Junkies social media accounts. That's PW_Junkies, and Jovan or Dennis are pointing at the top there. You have on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. Have all our great podcasts there, along with all our great video content. So make sure you don't miss that. Go join the group Pro Wrestling Junkies, and then go join the group that was formerly known as Pro Wrestling Junkies Marketplace. Is now, I think, Pro Wrestling Junkies Razzies, Card Breaks, Rumbles.
Oh my.
Yeah, go check those out. And then if you want to rep one of your favorite podcasts or even Pro Wrestling Junkies in general, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Pro Wrestling Junkies and get yourself some Pro Wrestling Junkies merch. And be on the lookout for that Junkyard shirt. That will be coming soon. So
we promise it's coming.
It is coming. It's coming as slow as that Apollo Crews heel turn.
Oh, wow, that's pretty slow. Okay, so it's probably never going to happen. But then it's going to happen, then it's going to come out probably with a horrible accent. So we'll see how that... Accent. Yeah. If you want, you can follow me on my personal social media account, number 11SC on the Twitter machine. You'll probably see a lot of Dark Order love there, hence the name number 11. Instagram, too, if you want to go ahead and do that as well. But, Dennis, you have multiple places people can find you. Go ahead and list them out.
Well, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook. Just type in Dennis Day Jr. And you can follow me on Twitter at Dennis W. Day Jr. You can follow my show, What Do You Say with DDJ, on Facebook at just type in What Do You Say with DDJ. Please do not forget that question mark after say. And then you can follow the show on Twitter at What Do You Say DDJ. And by the time this podcast drops, my episode 32 will have dropped. And my guests this week are actually the two men that I'm here with now. I have Spencer and Jovanni beginning a little series I like to call What Do You Say with DDJ Invasion. This is going to be the first of a few shows that I do where I profile the other podcasts on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad. And also one more plug. Stay tuned, because coming very soon to What Do You Say with DDJ is a former Impact Wrestling superstar.
Well, with more plugs than QT Marshall, give What Do You Say with DDJ a cheap pop.
Well, 20 episodes of the Junkyard in, and soon to be 32 episodes of What Do You Say with DDJ in. I got to keep giving the people what they want.
And ladies and gentlemen, what the people want is to reach out to Jovanni Hotty when he's not on the microphone. Guys, you can find me at the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page. If you're not there, what are you doing? Stop wasting your time. We do so much and crazy crap there. You can find me there under my government name, Jovan Menacho. Or I'm also on the Twitter machine, like my two fellow co-hosts here, at Jovanni2Hotty. I will be the guy with the Junkyard logo and the pinned tweet from the one and only Scotty2Hotty, giving that thumbs up for your one and only 2Hotty.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening, however you guys listen. Real quick plug again. Make sure you guys subscribe on Apple Podcast. And if you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. You can find this on all your available audio podcast and YouTube for the video version. Same day on Tuesday. So, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode of the Junkyard. So, gentlemen, strike the pose. Have a great night, great morning. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, good night, ba-bang, junkies out.